This session is about the writing task 2 for the academic module of IELTS, and it is an overview. So what we're going to do is we are simply going to look at the kind of question that you get for task 2, what the instructions are, and talk about what you are expected to do. I won't go into the tips, strategies and techniques that you need to use to get a high score in this session, but of course there are following videos where you can learn exactly how to write a really good answer. Okay then, so let's look at what the task is. Basically it is an essay. So you have an essay and you are given some kind of topic or subject or problem to write about, and you need to give your opinion and ideas in connection to that topic or problem. So these are some of the instructions. Give reasons for your answer and include any relevant examples from your knowledge or experience. And you must write at least 250 words. Notice it says 250 words there as the minimum. There is certainly no maximum, and really if you only write 250 words, that's going to limit your chances of a high score because you're probably not covering the issue in enough detail or enough depth. So you should be aiming to write at least 300 plus words, I would say. And you have 40 minutes to write your answer. And task 2 is worth more marks. So let's look at some of the typical directions that you get. And they are limited. There's a small number of directions that are used many times in these kind of essays. These are the commonest examples. So here we've got discuss both points of view and give your opinion. So in this kind of direction, the question will give you 2 points of view. So you'll get something like, some people think XXX, other people think YYY. So basically you need to discuss both X and both Y. And then you need to give your opinion, which might mean whether you support X or whether you support Y, and of course explanations for doing so. The second thing you might get is, do the advantages outweigh the disadvantages of some kind of topic? So for this one, you need to, of course, discuss both advantages and disadvantages. The next one is, to what extent do you agree? Now, with to what extent, that just means how strongly do you agree or how strongly do you disagree? And then the last one is where you have a double question, usually why and then what can be done about it. So for example, it might be about the environment. Why do people pollute the environment with rubbish? And then what can be done about it? So you have 2 different parts to the question there. Now, one of the things about the opinions is, don't worry too much about what your opinion is. I'll talk about that in a few minutes when we look at the example question. In fact, let's look at the example question now so you can see what it's like. So writing task 2, you should spend about 40 minutes on this task and write about the following topic. Some groups, such as poor people and people who come from rural areas, find it difficult to get access to university education. Universities should make it especially easy for students from these backgrounds to study at them. To what extent do you agree or disagree? So you can see here you have the direction, to what extent do you agree or disagree, and the situation is given to you about poor people from rural areas and their difficulty to access university education. And then we have the opinion: universities should make it easy for students. Now, as I said, whether you agree or disagree does not matter. There is no such thing as a correct opinion or an incorrect opinion. So don't worry, whatever your opinion is, it is okay. The point here is that when you give your opinion, you need to provide supporting points and ideas that explain your opinion. And that's the most important thing. Certainly don't worry about writing something that you think is acceptable by the examiners or not. That really doesn't matter. It's simply how you construct and how you explain your ideas that matter there. So this is a typical question, and you need to be aware of the kind of topics that will come up. So here we've got the effect of wealth and access to university education. So this task 2, there are many different topics, and certainly the topics are one of the most important things. I've done a little brainstorm about some of the topics that can come up. And so here's a little mind map just to give you an idea. Of course, this is not the only limited definitive list, but certainly it's a good brainstorm session that shows you the kind of topics you might get. So I just talk you through this kind of mind map. Starting on the top right, we have the environment, and then related to pollution, rubbish and trash, climate change. We have education, the importance of subjects compared to other subjects, teaching and learning in education. Money, we might have poverty, happiness. Transport, we could have business travel, leisure travel, or a question about international tourism. Technology, the use of mobile phones, the effect of technology, aspects related to internet. With food, it could be a question about food production, about food farming, about food distribution. With lifestyles, you can have lifestyles in the city versus rural areas, modern versus traditional lifestyles and ethics there. With business, you've got small versus large business, business ethics, advertising in business. Age, problems of old people, problems of young people, differences and similarities between different age groups. Health, we might have question about the health habits of different groups, and education of health matters. Family topics could include the roles of family members, relationships between family members. Shopping is also quite a popular topic for these task 2 questions. So there could be shopping habits, retail trends, comparing internet shopping versus brick and mortar shopping. And then the final topic is art and culture, with censorship and control of art and culture and development of art and culture. So this is a mind map just to give you some idea of the kind of topics. In the following sessions, I will go into more detail about the tips and strategies that you need in order to do well in the test. However, just to close, there are a few aspects that I would suggest that you need to remember when you're considering this question. You need to make sure that your ideas and opinions are related to the theme or the topic of the question. You need to make sure that you give a clear position, which is stating your ideas and opinions about that theme or topic. And then finally, you need to give supporting points and explanations or examples that strengthen your position. Well, in the following sessions, we're going to go into a lot more detail about how to actually write your answer for the Task 2 essay, but we'll stop there for this session.